Greetings everyone, I'm Kevin and today I'm doing the Get to Know the Romance Reader tag. So this tag was originally created by Bree Hill over unfoldingforromance.com. It was originally a blog post and you can see that down below as always. But without further ado, let's get into the questions. So the first question is, what is your romance origin story? And this is kind of like, how come you read your first romance novel? And the first romance novel that I ever read is Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. And this has kind of a little funny story. I don't know. The thing that got me into reading at all was fan fiction. So I read a lot of fan fiction and then I joined a group on Skype for people who shipped this specific ship. And I got friends with a lesbian. We became close and I said like, oh, I don't know any queer books. The only queer stories that I know are fan fiction. So she said to me, oh, Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour is absolutely fantastic and it's so cute, and just like she completely sold me on getting this book. So this is the first romance book that I ever read, and it's also the first ever queer book that I ever read. So this is my origin story. Second question, if you could be the heroine, or in this case hero, in a romance novel, who would be the author and what trope would you insist be included? And this is hard. Like this is difficult. I think the main issue for me with this question is, would I want a romance author to write me as the protagonist in a romance novel? Would I be trans in that book, or would I have been born male? Because I am a trans guy, in case you didn't know. I am on the wait list. I am going to start testosterone soon. I don't know how soon, but soon. This was me being an idiot because I just took a look at my shelves and woo, Christina Lauren, hello, can you write me a love story? I think that would be very fun actually. But I think Christina Lauren definitely has the offers. And then the question is, what trope would I insist be in the book? So now I'm just like running through my favorite tropes for romance. I do love me an enemies to lovers, and I don't mean enemies as in abusive past becoming lovers. I mean people who don't like each other for whatever reason, realizing the other person isn't as horrible as they once thought, they become friends and then they become lovers. And the other one that I absolutely love is friends to lovers. And I also love fake dating. I'm gonna go with fake dating. I think that would be very like fun. I would love me the unhoneymooners kind of vibe, but not by the beach, because I don't like the sun. I'm a vampire, in case you didn't know. But like honestly, summer is my least favorite season of the year. I don't like summers. They're too warm. Question number 3 is, what romance have you read this year that you want more people to read? So the romance novel that I think more people should read is Dating Makes Perfect by Pintip Dunn. Like, first of all, this is absolutely beautiful. And this is a kind of fake dating enemies to lovers kind of thing. We have 2 characters that used to be best friends. We have Winnie, the main character, like this girl. She had a best friend when she was younger called Matt, but then suddenly he just stopped being her friend. He started kind of like avoiding her, kind of ghosting her, you can say. And she decided like okay, we're enemies now. And it's explained a lot better than my attempt now. But when she's older, her parents decide like it's a Thai family. So the parents are kind of traditional Thai parents. But the parents kind of decide like, okay, because we don't want Winnie to go to college and not be able to find a husband. So you have to practice dating, fake dating. And so they chose Matt. And like this is kind of like best friends to enemies to friends to lovers plus fake dating. So this is like, I absolutely adore this book and everyone should read it. It's absolutely fantastic. I like, honestly, I just flew through this book. I like, look at me. This is how I feel about this book. So question number 4 is, what is your favorite romance subgenre and what subgenre have you not read that much from? I can start with the subgenre that I have not read much from. So the subgenre that I don't read that much of, I don't think I've ever read this genre, and it is romantic suspense, because I love romance novels because they kind of feel good, like a 90s rom-com, you know? And so romantic suspense and like the whole suspense part would go against why I love romance novels and why I love reading romance novels. So yeah. But for the subgenre that I love, or rather that I read the most of, is contemporary. So number 5, who is one of your Autobuy Offers for romance? And that is Christina Lauren and Claire Lydon. I just realized they have the same initials. Claire Lydon, Christina Lauren. CLCL. Interesting. Then we move on to number 6. How do you find romance recommendations? And the examples are Goodreads, YouTube, podcasts, and Instagram, ... And I would say that my main source of recommendations are videos like this. If anyone would have like a video titled romance recommendations, I would watch it. And if like all of the booktubers that I'm following, if they would do kind of like, oh, my favorite books, and there would be romance novels, and they would like, oh, this romance novel is about this. That's how I find my recommendations. And I also go to Pinterest. Pinterest is great with book recommendations. So then we're moving on to number 7. What is an upcoming romance book that you're excited for? That is, meaning that it hasn't been released as of April. It's April 27th today, so a book that is not released and will be released after April 27th. And I'm just going to go through all the romance releases I'm excited for because I can't pick one. So Counting Down With You, Meet Cute Diary, Some Girls Do, Honey and Issues Guide to Fake Dating, Love and Other Natural Disasters, The Soulmate Equation, The Low Country Bride, One Last Stop, Too Good to Be Real, and The Dating Dare. So these are all books that I'm really excited for, and that will be released in May and June and on. So question number 8, what is a misconception about romance that you wish would be laid to rest? And for me, it's very like clear that it's only for women. Like, romance books aren't, like, we shouldn't gender books, first of all. And I think that there is this kind of like thing that because a lot of women likes a genre, that means that if a man likes a genre, he is effeminate. Like, that is just such a huge issue because romance novels should be for everyone. But that is the one misconception about romance that I would definitely like to lay to rest. So then we're on to question number 9. Who is the most recent romance reader content creator that you came across and who you can give like a shout out to? So I don't really follow a lot of romance reader content creators specifically, but I am going to give a shout out to 2 YouTubers, 2 booktubers that I have followed for quite a while. And the first one is Jane from the Bookaholic, and I will leave a link to her socials and YouTube down below so you can check her out. And I also want to give a shout out to Chelsea Palmer, who is a romance reader, and she also does diamond art painting. They always put a smile on my face, so that's the kind of content creators that I like to kind of give a shout out to. And Chelsea's links will also be down below so you can check her out. Then we're on to the last question, question number 10. If someone has never read a single romance novel in their life and they come to you for recommendations, which 3 books would you recommend? So the first book that I would recommend if you want to start out with romance and you want something kind of sweet, I do recommend Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. It also has kind of like a mystery element to it. If you enjoyed that as well. I would also recommend Recommended For You. It is a book set in a bookstore, and it doesn't necessarily deal with romance novels in it. It has a very cute romance between this Jewish girl and this Jewish guy. And then number 3 is, if you enjoy fantasy, if you really like fantasy and you want to try romance, I would recommend Frostblood. It is mainly a fantasy story of a girl who was born a fireblood in a world of frostbloods. So frostbloods are people who kind of have Elsa's ability, like they're better when it's kind of like cold, and they have like cold powers. And then our main character, who's a fireblood, has like a temper. She is warm and has like heating and fire powers. Like the romance in that book is really, really cute. So I think that could be, if you enjoy like YA fantasy, that book could be like a good bridge for you to try a fantasy romance, I think. So that was it for this video. I hope you enjoy, and please leave a like if you do. Until next time, good reading. Bye!